The end of my day just don't feel right. Whenever you're gone for a while out of my sight, my tummy starts tossing and turning around.
What's up, everybody? My name is Ricky, and this is my beautiful wife,
Val, and we are the Rocks. Welcome to another episode of Beyond I Do, presented by Dear Fathers, sponsored by Rex Whiskey. What's up? Today we have a beautiful I'm gonna wait till Devonte is back. Today we have a beautiful, super cool, super dope couple with us, Devonte and Destiny Bennett. What up, y'all?
Hey.
What's up, Bennett gang?
Gang. How y'all doing?
Good.
Pretty good, yeah. It's a lot going on right now in this house, but aside of that,
day by day,
moment by moment.
Sure.
It's our normal household. I don't know.
yeah. We're actually in the home right now. We're at my sister's house, so it's a little more going on than normal.
Right.
We like to kick it off. Y'all just tell us a little bit of something about yourselves, how long y'all been married, whatever y'all want to say here, just break it down for us.
Wait.
So she's a cougar.
What?
I'm
Who
26.
starts with that?
She's 28. She stole me in my youth. I used to go to her house and hang out, and she slowly developed and slowly stole me. She was my best friend, and she slowly just kind of stole me away from a few different women.
Okay.
And we've been married for going on 8 years now.
Wow.
Yeah, we got married when I was
18 and 20.
She was 20.
Wow.
Yeah, so yeah, it's been a ride. We're in harvest season right now.
Yeah. The beginning didn't exactly happen like that. I actually remember him chasing me, but we're just gonna disregard that. So.
Man, that's a whole nother. Honestly, I didn't know y'all got married so young. I'm sure y'all had a whole nother list of experiences, kind of just learning everything on your own.
Oh yeah.
What advice would you give to somebody getting married that young? Or at that age? I'll say at that age.
I would say.
Go ahead.
Yeah, you talked first last time. I would say, don't listen to other people. Don't listen to your family. I actually made a post about that because I'm like, people automatically assume that when you get married young, it's like, oh, it's not gonna last. You know, you're too young. And I feel like that mindset can be very like defeating and weighing on marriage, which is already hard enough, you know? So definitely like learn to trust yourself. Like if you feel like you're ready, I mean, I'm not like promoting like that teenagers get married, but if you feel like, you know, you're married and you're young, like don't let other people be the defeat of what you believe in.
It's not the end of the world. I mean,
right.
It's probably not coming these days, but.
Right.
Yeah, it's exactly that. Turn towards each other. Don't let, that's it. Like, that's it. That's one of the biggest things I learned. It was like, as soon as we started turning towards each other and stop facing
other people.
Everywhere else, that's when things started the grass started growing.
Hey, y'all gonna see us take notes because we take this serious, and I love that turn toward each other. It's like a sunflower.
Yeah,
yeah,
exactly. Exactly.
I'll say it again. I'm growing. So me and Val been married for 6 years.
6 years. Yeah.
And I'm growing a lot from these conversations. You know what I'm saying? Because just getting another perspective, just like I didn't have a lot of, you know, guidance growing up. Just and you know, so I'm getting a lot of this. I'm getting a lot out of this too. So. I appreciate y'all, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. Oh, like I'm telling you right now, it's all like when we first kind of got into the whole Instagram thing, I didn't really like think too much of it. I'm a Marine, so like kind of coming out of that into this, it was like, oh, you know, I didn't really see much to it, but now as we've been connecting with other families that I see that literally either have been through a similar thing than us, or they're in a similar position, or like just I see more. Was it more? I guess
common ground.
I don't know. I don't know how to put it. Yeah, everyone like we're connecting to the right people. It feels good. Like really being able to have, like you said, to have these conversations because it's like, yeah, dude, like this is needed. This is something that I wish I had seen when I first got married, yeah, bro.
So I guess we kind of got to take into our own hands and be kind of the inspiration that we needed. So yeah.
Hey, usually like to kick it off with a game, but y'all got us when you said you got married. So I don't want to keep saying so young, but when y'all got married around 18, that took a turn.
We was taught. We taught? Nah.
Yeah, we started talking at like 20.
I was nowhere near. Why?
It was like, I ain't gonna lie, like we had been friends for quite a while before that. Like, okay, I don't know. I always grew up. Not my great grandparents, but my grandparents. They've been married for like 50 years, so I seen marriage growing up. Like, kind of seeing what it could be, what Black love could be, should be. Like and I mean, I didn't necessarily see that in my household per se, but I knew what I wanted. So like, I was always the one who I would date for marriage per se, and it was kind of like I expected to get married young, but I expected like, what was it? I think it was before I went to boot camp. I told several people, I was like, I'm gonna marry her when I get back. I already knew it. Like I knew it. We had been. I don't know. I knew it. Something. It's weird saying that, but yeah, something actually like struck me and told me like, yeah, that's it. Just go ahead.
That spirit, sometimes it just.
Yeah, bro. Like exactly.
So you do it.
Yes, again.
All right. We was getting deep a little too fast. We also.
Right. That's why he's good for that. He's good for that.
They're probably like, we could do all of that.
We gotta,
All right, we're gonna do that for sure. All right, so I got 3 questions. All right, I'm gonna ask them in rapid fashion, but you can't go to the next question until you agree on the previous question.
Okay.
So here we go. 3 questions. First question. Okay, so you gotta kind of just agree amongst yourself. All right. First question: who dresses the kids the best? Okay.
I'll give it to her, yes.
Okay. No question.
Go.
All right. Who dances the best?
Yeah, I'll say yeah.
Okay, like, you better.
I had to look at it for a second. I don't even try.
Look, I'm getting some rhythm, okay? I'm getting there. It's coming.
All right.
Maybe y'all can practice together. No.
All right. Who's the first to apologize?
Ooh.
That was a good one. You came up with that one.
Really?
I love
Turn
it.
off the light.
Hey.
Yeah, come here.
Get bored.
Me. I will apologize first.
I'm getting better though.
Yeah.
I'm getting better.
You dad different, man.
Look, exactly. Straight up, I'm dad different, yo.
Destiny was an Aries. When your birthday?
April 4th.
I'm April 10th. So it is
Right.
So when you say you're getting there on the apology thing, I understand. It is not in our nature. You have
How
to
long
learn.
it's gonna take to get?
They're like, I'm sorry for that. I'm like, thank you for being a man about that.
Every time.
Sometimes we gotta be the bigger man, and just
look, like your shirt says, our dad different. I learned I had for my sake.
Right, for our sake, for our livelihood. Okay, look, we gonna roll. All right.
All right, we're gonna dive a little deeper. I love it.
Please. Go, little baby. Little baby. Go with your brother.
They're good, y'all.
No, you're good. And when we can
background.
edit this, this is real, though.
they-
This is beyond. So
Try to take over the whole thing. I don't know if y'all see how much they talk. They like to talk. They can't be in a room where questions are being asked. They try to.
some stars, though. They. I know the oldest one,
Mm-hmm.
Caden, right? Because our son's name is Hayden, so Caden.
Oh, okay.
He's a star. He's definitely a star for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, go watch Baby Sign Language. Let's go.
I hope not jinxing us.
Kai, go with daddy, please.
He literally
with
wants
daddy.
to be on the phone, video phone. And be in the butt. Let's go. Yep. Watch your baby sign language video.
Go ahead, crack that. Go ahead, crack that.
Go sit down.
And don't break my phone.
I'm gonna quiz you.
It's gonna be a test. You better pay attention to it.
Okay, so what is one thing you wish somebody would have told you prior to saying I do about marriage?
You wanna go first?
Sure. Why not?
Oh wait, no, I went first. Or
Go ahead.
you first.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
So for me, I actually didn't think about this one because marriage honestly was kind of how I expected it to be to a degree. I did not know, and this is because of the household that I grew up in, how much communication was involved. Oh my God, I did not know. Oh my God. I couldn't communicate to save my life. I didn't understand what I needed to communicate about. It was, communication was just like, if they had to just stress to me how much communication just mattered and just how much I needed to learn how to communicate just in general, like it would have been a difference.
So for you, is it more like expressing how you feel, or is it listening? Like, what is like, where do you think like you would have profited the most in communication?
Expressing my feelings. I grew up in a household where the only feelings we really had was anger, and every other feeling, sadness, hurt, everything else fell into the category of anger. So it was like, if anything, I just got angry, and it was like, for what? What am I mad about? I'm mad a lot. I can't communicate when I'm mad. I start yelling, and then she doesn't yell. So it would be like, I'm yelling. It's a one-sided yelling battle.
I just cried.
She cries, and now we have tears. I'm yelling. I'm irritated, and you're crying, and I'm looking like, I didn't mean to hurt you.
How you, Destiny?
For me, I think it's gonna be two things. So one would be, I wish someone had told me that like every relationship is unique and different. And it's funny because I mean, like, I guess nobody really expected me to get married at 20, so nobody really told me that much. I guess people were like, we have time to tell you stuff, and it was just like, wham, bam, I'm pregnant, I'm married. So I'm sure there's a lot, but ones that really stuck out to me is just like, every marriage is different, every relationship is different. So it's like, everybody's advice you kind of have to take with a grain of salt, and you really have to like learn like your partner and like, you know yourself and know God, and like understand that you're the best judge of like your relationship and your partner, like nobody else. Because I would be like the first one that's like, oh my gosh, he acting this way, he doing this, and they're like, girl, you need to drop him. And I'm like, yes, I do. So it's just like, now looking back, I'm like, oh my God, like so many people gave me so much bad advice, and nobody was able to give me the right advice because not the right advice, but the best advice, because they're not in my marriage. They're not,
Was it in our marriage? Was it in our position? Like, no.
And number two would be just like, basically, I feel like relationship, like marriage is like a child, and like it grows, and it's like growing and ever changing. So it's just like, the same way you would raise a child, the same way you have to kind of like raise your marriage, in the sense like you have to nurture it. Like there's attention needs. You're not going to get married and everything's perfect. And it's like, oh, happily ever after. Like that's not a thing. There's so much that you have to put into your marriage, but it's like, if you put in the work, like if you're willing to do it, then you'll reap what you sow. But like a lot of people go into marriage and it's like, okay, this isn't working out, divorce, like, and that's, if you don't water your seeds, they're not going to grow, period.
You actually just said, Devonte, that you guys are in the harvesting season, right? It kind of just leads into just that, you know what I'm saying? Just continuously like harvest. You do that every season. It doesn't stop. You just continue.
It's literally gotten to the point where we're like, is this real? Have we really come this far? Like, have we like
on every level, like
whoa,
mental, spiritual,
like,
physical,
whoa,
like everything.
Like this is really our life right now, and we're just like, man, like this is really our life right now. Like, okay, we're doing something right. Let's keep trekking along. We don't. Yeah, it's weird because it's like, there's still not that much, like I was telling you the other day, I was like, not really with our support system, but like with the way our life is, the overhead of our life really is God. That's it. I don't get guidance from really anybody else. I don't really get anything else from, if I'm not reading Yes.
Okay,
Go
can
play
you
with
close
toys.
that? Thank you. Close the door so your little baby
Oh,
can get out.
I love that. I have nothing to do with it.
Hey,
You're
that's the best time to ask your parents for something when they doing something.
Right.
Like that. But
Always. Like, they didn't have nothing to do with us before we started this, right?
At all. Nothing. They're with their cousin the entire time. That's the whole reason why we even came, so they could be entertained. And now all of a sudden,
No, it's all good. We literally like any second we could be in the exact same trying to listen now.
And yeah, we appreciate y'all taking time out to do this
Yeah,
too.
for sure.
oh, of course.
Yeah.
I love those little interruptions. I feel like that's what makes it real. Like that's where you see the real character development. It's like, hey,
Yeah.
you can't get away from it.
Watch me drag my kid out 37 times.
And I saw a post of y'all that went viral that said, you should apologize to your kid every time you're wrong. But I want to talk about that more and just the concept or the idea of apologizing to your children. If y'all just want to elaborate on that, tell us what you meant by that and why it's important.
So, like I said, or like he said, kind of, when we started out, we didn't have like a ton of guidance. So there's so much that we've learned along the way. And I kind of thank God for that, because I feel like, no shade, like, to our family. Let me throw this out here right now, because Mama, I love you. Everybody, we love you. I don't want nobody calling us out, texting us, none of that.
But like it says right there, I dad different.
Yeah, I feel like because we had to seek a lot of information on our own, we were able to kind of like escape out of a lot of like generational curses, and that's simply because like once we were out of that, we started seeing things differently. It's like looking back at like things that were common when we were young, when we were raised. It's like, damn, like this is not right,
Yeah.
Okay, there's a bathroom right there. Yeah. Oh, you forgot. Okay. Anyway, so there's so much that I want to speak on when it comes to that, and it's just like literally it happens like with experience. Like I'll see something or like something will happen and it'll trigger it, and I'm like, oh my God, like I need to write about this. And so like that was one of those things where it was just like looking back on being a kid, or just looking at like how I grew up. Like parents don't really apologize to kids, and that's not just like my parents, that's not specifically anybody's parents. It's just like, especially as like part of the Black community, like that just wasn't a common thing. Like that wasn't anything I really heard until we were in like child education classes and like all that type of stuff, where we were like, oh shoot, like that's a thing. It just wasn't heard of. And so like now being older and like realizing like like I told you, I already have an issue with apologizing.
Wow, right.
I acknowledge that within myself. And so it's like, shoot, I can't even apologize to my husband. Like it's even harder to apologize to my kids, And it's like we already look at kids as being kind of inferior, So it's kind of like, okay, we're raising you, we're taking care of you. Yeah, I did that wrong. So what? I'm gonna feed you tomorrow, And we don't realize that when we're doing that, we are literally repeating that process of like raising them to be that exact same way, not being able to acknowledge when they're wrong, not being able to apologize. And as I started like realizing that about myself, I was like, I really don't want my kids to have to deal with that. I don't want them to have to be in their 20s struggling to apologize to their wife because they weren't apologized to, as kids, and they never really learned how to acknowledge it.
Can I ask you more about the child education classes? When did y'all do that? And then I have a side question. Did you see your peers in that class?
I'll do that one. So we ended up in child education classes because of me. So
actually, I was in college for early childhood development before.
Okay, so
But
I ended up in because of me. Yeah, no,
that's
you're
by
right.
default.
You're right. That's by default. So when I was in the Marine Corps, basically, good Lord, if you do anything in the Marine Corps, you get counseling, you get anything. So at the time, we were going through our biggest marriage issues, like the biggest of all time. I was, 18, 19? I got out when I was 22. So that entire, my whole, like...
You were like 20, because I was pregnant with Cash.
Yeah, so I was like 20 years old. just got back from deployment, on medication for my back, going through depression, going through working stupid long hours at work. We're working like 14-hour days on a regular basis with no weekends. Like it was just, crazy military stuff. And it wasn't uncommon, but I was overly stressed out. And basically we got into an altercation. We got into a whole argument. I ended up
with police being called and
command got involved. I got arrested.
It was
a mess. So after that, and that right there was my real when I actually saw. I don't say I saw God, but like I ended up when you're in Arizona, it's there like Maricopa County, the whole police, everything out there is very corrupted. So when you're military, you get put on suicide watch automatically, and you end up in the hole. Just off top. Nothing. I got no charges. Nothing. Everything got dropped. Everything was completely it was all bogus BS. But I ended up in the hole. So while I'm in the hole, I met God. All I had there was a Bible, and me and God, we had a nice long conversation.
Wow.
And I kind of really started realizing like where I was messing up, where my head was at, where I was going wrong with some things. And then that's how we pretty much ended up. I got back to the command came through, and basically it was I needed to take anger management classes, I needed to take parenting classes, and a bunch of other classes.
You had to do counseling.
Yeah, counseling. And I was very hesitant about all of it at first because all the stigmas attached to it. I was like, I don't want to be called crazy. I don't want to do all that other stuff. And then when I got in and I got with a good counselor and we got some of the classes, I think at the very beginning of one of the classes, I can't remember our instructor's name. She was really amazing, and she was just breaking down kind of parenting from a military aspect. I got into the Marine Corps basically because I really wanted to protect people and because someone told me I couldn't do it. Mm-hmm. So they broke it down to me on a very survival, very the principal level of what being a parent was. And one of the things that they had told me was, we're training our kids to survive for when we're gone, for whatever takes place. And that hit me, and I was like, oh, that really, that was, I think, probably one of the biggest moments that changed how I viewed parenting, because I was like, well, if I die tomorrow, you need to be able to be successful.
Be equipped, right?
Right, period. You need to be able to take care of you. You need to be able to be successful. You need to be able to not have to worry because your dad's gone. And as hard as that was, it was I grew up with my parents pretty much at work for the most part. They worked in Orange County. They worked an hour and a half away from where we had actually lived, and then dealing with the traffic and all the extra crap. So I would wake up, and this is from me being, I think, 11 until I was 14, 15, waking up, getting myself dressed, going to school, getting breakfast, or scavenging. Me and my homeboy used to scavenge for freaking bottles to get food, to get money, to get food to go in the morning. So it was I started realizing I learned how to survive on my own because my parents weren't there. I didn't want my kids to have to do that because that shit was stupid. It was damn. I remember growing up, used to always wonder it was tough. And it was I'm 14. I was 14, 15, making when I met her, I had already had my own business. I had her, who she was dating at the time, worked for me. So
you're gonna make it sound like that.
It is what it is. I met her and I was you messing with my money.
That was legitimately the first words he ever said to me. I was you are rude as hell. So
it's I had a whole I had to learn how to kind of defend for myself at a young age and how to survive. And it was cool and all, and I learned a lot from it, but it was hard. And it was for my kids, they didn't need that. I didn't want that for them. So it kind of just started. I started taking in. I guess I'm a research nerd. I love to read, and when I started taking fatherhood really serious, I just started absorbing as much information as I could about it because essentially it was that. It was how do I make you they have to be better than me.
Right.
It don't matter if I die tomorrow, they got to be better than me. And it's not that they got to be better than me in the sense that they got to go farther than me. It's that principally, they have to know these principles and these things better than I need them so that they can take better steps.
That's actually a good, I guess that's a good segue into father to father initiatives. And first, I want to just salute you, not on behalf of Dear Fathers, but on behalf of me as well, just seeing brothers, create avenues to inspire other people to be, other men to be dope fathers is what I feel like a part of our mission is. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. So on father to father initiatives, what are some can you give us some tangible tools on the fatherhood engagement piece? I think fathers might know I need to spend more time with my child, but can you give us some real time, tangible things to do to better engage with our kids?
So that's actually, I'm glad to, because there's so much that goes into it, but the best thing that I've really learned, especially that I do, is our kids, we might not really see it all the time, but our kids really are direct reflections of us. So 9 times out of 10, if we like something, they will probably like it too. So what I've found is that when we show that we're really inspired or really into something, if we show that to them and we just bring them along with it, just, hey, come check this out, come here, whatever it is, it could be. We're not leaving, we're staying. Go. Yeah. Okay. Yes, go get some more. Right.
Apple juice.
Go actually, right.
No, close it. You're gonna attack the baby.
I love it.
And when you come back through,
full-time job. It's a full-time. You don't get no break when I sleep.
That's literally the thing right there, is that you don't get that break. So it's if I realized, I was okay. So one of the biggest things is I was 280 pounds about a year and a half, maybe almost 2 years ago. I was really out of shape, fat. I got pretty bad from just depression and anxiety and all that stuff. So
I said, damn, not that, but just, and you said a year and a half ago.
Exactly.
So you're not doing fine.
Bro. Look, I'm telling you that was the thing right there. It was I wanted to be a better example for them. And it came down to, it was okay, I started realizing, how do I was injured. I had no energy, and the things that they wanted to do, I couldn't keep up with all the time. So it was okay, what is it that we can do that we can start, spending more time? The first thing that I did was we started a night routine. I started taking over the night routine because it was at the very least, if they see that they get that one-on-one time with me every single night before bed, this is back when I was working, then they have time with me. So, and it was no matter what, if we were gonna get a night routine done or get the night routine done, and we have what's called it's been 2.5 years since I started that. We have what's called Daddy Power. So
what's called again?
Daddy Power.
Daddy Power.
Yeah. So one night, our middle child Cash was kind of scared. He was having trouble sleeping.
Was it Cash or Kaden?
It was Cash, I think. It might have been Kaden.
No, it was Kaden.
It might have been Kaden. I'm not sure. It was one of them. But they were asking me basically for they wanted me to lay with them, and I didn't want to lay with them any longer. They just wouldn't go to sleep, and they were having trouble with their dreams. So I just told them, okay, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna give you some daddy power. I'm gonna give you some of my power. It's gonna help you be stronger, and you'll be fine doing your dreams. It worked.
That was creative. That was super creative.
Dude, I just tickled him, and we did that, and then we did a super dap, and we've been doing it pretty much every night since. So
to the point that it's even developed into mommy power and mommy super dad. I'm what? Okay, sure.
So it's a whole family thing now. Kyle runs up to do it, the youngest, and that's when I really started seeing that it was something, because he's going on 2 years old and he's seen it so much. Yeah. He just wants to do it. So it's little things, just little things like that. Honestly, engaging the child is just, it can be as simple as you picked them up from work or picked them up from school and you're talking to them. Right. Just it's all about bringing them exactly, yeah, nurturing that relationship, engaging them, having your guys' energies connect, because that's the biggest problem with a lot of fathers is that we just don't know how to connect, because of course when the babies are born, they're not with us 90% of the time. We're not doing skin to skin right off the bat. They're not telling us these things. We don't know. We're not, a lot of times we're not co-sleeping. Like, oh man, Western society has us, they have removed the father, like purposely, and not for good reason, for good reason for them to, keep control. But, with that, it's we don't know how. And it's been so, I guess, instilled in us. Yeah, it's almost like DNA. It's almost like that. Like, even I find people who had fathers struggling to be engaged fathers, and they had a father that was there, and it's just like, well, my dad was there, but we did sports.
Yeah.
And okay, what if your kid's not good with sports? Well, I don't know what else to do. I don't know. And it's like, okay, what did you like to do? That's always what I take it back to. What did I like to do growing up as a kid? What did I like to do? Because chances are they like to do it. They're boys. It's like, so it's kind of easier with them because they're boys. But it's like, they like, I see that they like, who was it? Cash. Cash likes martial arts. They would watch Power Rangers and stuff like that all the time. So I was like, okay, you like martial arts. I like martial arts. We're going to train. Let's go outside. We're going to train. We're going to go kick. You're going to learn how to do some martial arts. Okay, cool. You want to do your backflip? They, like right now, Cash is really big into gymnastics right now. He just loves it. So it's like, okay, you're into gymnastics. I'm not, but gymnastics is good for martial arts. Let's try it. You want to learn how to backflip? Let's learn how to backflip together. Let's do it. And it's just like whatever little thing that I can.
Yeah, you kind of got to be in tune to know how to shift with the different, the needs. And that's dope, though.
That's honestly the biggest one right there, is being in tune. And that's, I actually wrote a paper on it, but it was like I did like a 4-step plan to pretty much like being involved. But that was step number 1 is self-evaluation and self-evaluation, which is just right there. I kind of treat it like the scientific method. You first sit there and you evaluate. Well, for 2 reasons. Because one of the things that I also noticed was that all the good behavior and all the bad behavior that my children have pretty much came from me. Oh yeah, okay. It came from one of us. So one of the things that when I started realizing was that basically that, like, if I observed the things that I had trouble with, if I saw them in him, I could pretty much guarantee that I was dealing with it too. So if I solved it in me, I could teach him how to solve it. So having that self-awareness
starts with us.
Exactly. And so that was pretty much it. Start right there with your what did you feel like you wanted to do more with your dad as a kid, or what did you see other kids, like, literally took myself back to what did I want to do? Well, I remember that as a kid I used to just want to run off playgrounds and jump off stuff.
Yeah.
We used to run off the playgrounds and we do parkour. We don't know what we're doing. So we jump off stuff.
Yeah.
I want to ask, y'all keep referencing back, like, your family, what it was like growing up. I saw, Destiny, you did a post about the village. So I just want to talk about it. What do you think is missing from the village now? And what do you think we need to add to today's new village?
Okay. I can answer that question. I feel like it differs, and just like, it's funny because, like, when I made that post, like, I don't say I'm a bad blogger. I'm not a bad blogger. I'm not one of those bloggers that has, like, their posts, like, all planned out, their weekly plan, and they know exactly what they're gonna post. I'm like at 12:52, like, oh crap, I need to post something at 1 o'clock. What's on my mind right now? So that post kind of ended up being more of like a rant in a sense, but like something that I was reflecting on. And because it's between, like, with me and my husband, we're not, maybe it's just because, like, he's been in the military, we've been away, stuff like that, but it's like we're not super, super connected with our family. Like, we are, We're very connected with like my mom. We're very connected with like certain members of our family. Yeah, but it's just like we're not a super.
Just tell it as it is.
We're not.
When it comes to my side of the family, and it's been like that. Like I said, I left for the military at
18,
no,
17.
I left for the military at 17. I turned 18 when I was in boot camp. So
there's a lot of distance.
There's a lot of distance, and I've been gone from home ever since. And I didn't leave on the best of terms. And like I said, when we first got married, no one thought we were gonna make it. I had those parents that were just like, oh, da da da, she's not for you. Oh, da da da, this that. Like when I say people are eating their words right now, looking at us, it's people are eating their words. Like, and it doesn't suck, but it's like I try to. We just. Yeah, like it's different, and because of that, it's hard. Like my parents still have my little brother and little sister. My little sister, although she's pretty much grown, she's still in high school, and she has a softball career that's very taxing. So they're never around still. So it's like we don't have a support on my end. Like my family pretty much has zero out.
But even like my family, we're kind of like spread out. I mean, like I have siblings, but my dad passed a few years ago. And like, I don't really know any of his family, and then my mom's family is like all the way in Michigan. So it's like, I don't know, the family, like just the people that are around it just seem like, dang, like this used to be so different. When we were younger, it seemed like, all right, like that village was there. And it's just like, especially, I think it's like, especially when you have like younger parents, it's kind of just like, okay, well, like we want to live our lives now. We're not trying to be grandparents, and I see a lot of that in this generation, a lot of like young grandmas, the grandmas, that's like, hey, like, but I'm going to the club tonight. Like I can't, and it's just different. It's so different. So like, I wish I had an answer for the question as far as like, what can make it better, but like really it's gonna come down to like people having that sense of like community back, like that sense of like all this other stuff is gonna pass, but like family is everything, and
I just want to encourage y'all, because I think, like you said, you don't know how to answer the question, but I think what y'all are doing as a family collective is building your own village, and maybe profit in it in the sense of you're, having people for your kids. But when your kids have kids, like you're gonna be going back to what you said, like what would you have wanted in a grandparent? You gonna be that, and like, and I just think that y'all are on the right path to create that village, even if it's just y'all two holding it down right now. Like that foundation is gonna be so strong. So when your family continues to grow and flourish, that's because of the work y'all put in through God.
That's real.
That's honestly, like, that's what I say. I feel like, I mean, I don't know if the family, if we could immediately fix the village. Like, I think you're right. I think it's going to be something that's like, as far as I see it, I'm like, I know my kids are, that's where I know it starts with us. I don't know if it's going to build off of, or if they're going to jump on boat now, but I know when their time, it's going to be, it's going to be something different. But honestly, like, I feel like what we need now more than anything is we need, like, there's like the family unit, and it's not even just the Black family anymore. It's literally the family unit in the American household. We've been driven to think that, well, before coronavirus, I say coronavirus is honestly one of the best things that I think happened for America, because it made people look at what matters.
Yeah.
It made people look at what matters. I talk about it all the time because I feel like my parents were gone optionally. I feel like I don't want to say optionally, because of course they didn't feel like they had the options, but not even unnecessarily. I mean, unnecessarily too. But I feel, I don't know, I'm gonna go real deep with it, but the journey that I've been on and how my grandmother not raised me, but influenced me, was literally, you serve God or you serve mammon. And when I went to look at what mammon is this material world. It's the material nature that we know isn't going to be here. My grandmother told me since I was, born. Came
out the womb like this.
Came out the womb talking about you can't take it with you. So do well with it while you're here. And I look at it today, and it's like a lot of people chase. My parents specifically, they didn't move their work home because they didn't want to take the pay cut.
Yeah.
And it's like that's a lot of people. That was me. I was going to LA, taking 3 trains to work, and I look at myself now. I'm like, dude, that was insane. Like, I'm taking 3 trains to work to go live all day to make rent, to pay, to live, to have my family that I don't get to see. What's the point of having like it's like, okay, so what was the point? But and it's like I have friends to this day that I mentor. Like, I ain't gonna say no names, but that they've chased the material. I've seen what you get when you chase the material dream, even down in my own family, and it's never what you thought it was, and it's never what you wanted it. So I feel like if people start realizing that more, and we start turning into back home, because like literally America's got us tricked and fooled to the point where we don't have grandma and grandpa. We should all be living in the same house. There should be no reason like, bro, why we all got 4 different houses in 4 different cities when with 4 different rooms, or we all got 4 rooms and 2 people live in each house? Why don't we just get 2 houses?
Money consolidated. House, all the love, watch, and then the parents have a life. We can go out. You know, I do wish that, you know, it was like that. But like you said, like we can only kind of control here going forward. You know, and it got to kind of start with us and our kids, and we kind of the sacrifice for our generation. We're the same way. Like we become like the sacrifice for.
I'm sorry. I just want to say this. He's not speaking for me. I have an awesome village who are watching my kids next week. So,
don't cancel that appointment.
I do probably apologize. If you do watch our kids, you are a part of our village.
I don't know what he's talking about.
Hold on, wait a minute.
You're right, though. I get it 100%. That's exactly how I feel. I really do feel like exactly that. Like, hey man, if the weight's gonna be on anybody's shoulders, I'm gonna carry it. Screw it. I'm gonna carry it, and we're gonna get to the finish line. Like, we're gonna die trying. Y'all gonna get to the finish line. Like,
I want to talk about this beautiful, beautiful her of y'all's. I'm sorry, we from St. Louis, so we say her. Y'all say that word for me real quick.
Her.
We say her.
In our
Yeah, how would you say it?
hair.
Yeah, we say
well,
her.
see, I don't have locks, but I wore my Lauryn Hill.
Okay.
So right now, obviously y'all have y'all locks, and then the 2 oldest boys have theirs, and then the youngest. How old is your youngest?
He'll be 2.
Okay.
Yeah, he'll have his very soon. Not gonna say when, but it's
okay. When did
when
the other one start their lock journey?
2.
Okay. Okay. And then when did y'all start yours?
I started mine in 2017, right when I got out of the military.
Yeah.
Okay.
So yeah, what?
Yeah.
So
3.
yeah, but that was these ones. So the ones on the top, the ones on the side, I started growing the sides out, I think in like 2019.
Yeah.
Like 2 years later.
Because he initially had like a little mohawk.
Yeah, I initially had the mohawk cut going on with it. And then I was like, nah, can't do it. Katie kept asking me questions with Daddy, when you gonna grow your hair out? Daddy, why don't you have your sides?
Haircut.
Yeah.
How about you, Destiny? When did you start your
I've had mine 2.5 years, because I got mine literally like a month after I found out I was pregnant with Kaya, which was April 2018, March, yeah. Because I had a wig on for my birthday because I was in my awkward stage.
So what is the lock journey mean to y'all?
That's because I don't have any kids on there. Sorry.
Okay, so I think let me just ask the question. Yeah, what does your lock journey mean to you and your family?
Man, Okay, so for me, it's very interesting. Like it's become very spiritual, but it's spiritual to a fact that I'm just trying to get closer to God, I guess, in a sense. And I know that it didn't start out that way. I mean, not when he got locked. When Caden first got locked, it definitely wasn't like that. But I think around the time that I started growing out my sides is when it started becoming real spiritual for us. It started getting that I think was around the time that we came out with The Power of the Hair, with the book. We started really understanding more about like what our locks meant to us and what it meant to our culture. And just I'm very I'm like I said, I'm a really big researcher. So I've done kind of tons of research and just gone back on just the spiritual aspect of the hair, like they're like antennas pretty much. And it's like it does hold power. It holds value, I guess.
And
energy. And I kind of see it as I also saw it at least as to why right now I kind of don't cut or shave or anything like that is because like I said, I'm trying to be more in tune with God, and I know Christ, specifically Jesus, and how the Nazarenes and how what their code was and cutting and how they believe with the hair and whatnot. Part of kind of what I've believed in and what I believe in goes back with that. So I kind of just
For me, it's funny. Like you said, when Caden started, Caden was the start. He was the first one to have locks. And my main reason for getting him locks was like very superficial. It's funny. When he was a little baby, he had a little afro. And I would always look at him like, damn, bro, if I touch your hair, you have a big old head. Like, I was like, we can't never cut his hair. Look how his head is shaped. And so it was like,
big old 5-head, man, like
he had like a little hook in the back. Like, I'm scared of what that boy's head looked like under all that hair. But
like, dang, like that. I did me like that. I thought my dress was sweaty. That's why I covered up.
bro, it's like, yeah, it's hiding all that hair. And the bigger his afro got, his hair texture was weird. It almost used to go into like these little natural like locks. Like it was like locking on its own. And people were like, you need to comb his hair. What are you doing with his hair? Are you gonna cut it? You need to comb it. And I'm like, dude, that's his natural hair texture. Like, just let it be, you know? Yeah. And so like after a while, I was just like, I just got really sick of hearing. And I was like, you know what? I'm gonna lock it. I'm not cutting his hair. And from there, it was just kind of like, okay, you know, we liked it. He liked it. And then like he said, he got his, and he was kind of like really getting deep into like his spiritual stuff and like that. And I've always been very vain. So it's I've always been very vain. I never liked my natural hair. Like I remember telling him when I was young, I was like, oh my God, how am I gonna like hide my natural hair from my husband? Like he can't know I have nappy hair. Like I'm gonna have to like make sure I got a wig, this is straightened out, you know? So like just the thought of it, I was like, I'm not gonna get locks. Like that's crazy. Like no. And I wanna say like around right before I found out I was pregnant with Kaio, I was like, I think I'm gonna get locked. And he was like, shut up.
Yeah.
Like, he was like, shut up. And I was like, no, I'm serious. He was like, shut up. And I was like, the man, I always had a wig on.
Around the time, too, she had a nice afro. Her hair was falling. She was like, I was like, you ain't getting no locks. All that talking, you ain't about to go through the phase of ugliness.
Yeah. I was not feeling it. So, like, close the door, baby. So, it's funny because, like, I mainly end up getting locks first just because like I found out I was pregnant and I was like, oh my God, like I can't deal with maintaining my hair. I didn't want to deal with it. I was over it and I was just like, I'm a mom now. Like I'm an official mom. I have 3 kids. Like I'm a mom's mom. So like I'm just gonna lock this up. And as the time went, it kind of started to become like a spiritual journey. Like it was like the more that I was growing as a person, like my hair was growing with me, you know, and my hair was changing. Like when I first got my hair locked, it was like these little tiny spiral curls. Like what's that actress
She
name?
came home with her locks.
She was like, take it out. We're going back. We're gonna find somebody else.
Boy,
he was like, it's okay. It's not your fault. We're gonna get this done right. I was just like,
I was like,
oh
those And she was like, I don't know if I like him. I was like, babe, just don't even just.
What's that actress name? The one with the curly, huh?
What do they look like?
They were like spiral curls, but but my hair is thin, so they were tiny.
They look like green
and
beans.
stringy. Yes.
They look like green beans coming out the side of her hair.
Yeah. So like going from that and like I was asking my sister like, you sure they gonna thicken up? She's like, they'll thicken. So like the time that went past and I was just like growing like spiritually and growing mentally and like, you know, learning more and changing as a person, as a parent. And my hair was changing with me. And it was just like, along with like everything else he said, like the culture behind it, and, you know, the ties to like our ancestors, but it just became for all of us, it was just kind of like that I don't know.
The book There Was Power in My Hair. Can you tell us about that and how your son was involved?
Oh, we just ordered it, right?
Yes.
We just bought it yesterday.
Oh, really? Oh, thank you. Wow.
I'm excited. Can't wait to read it.
Thank you so much. Yeah.
Go ahead. You talk about it. You know the writer.
So when Kaden went to kindergarten, Kaden was always like very confident about his hair. Like I said, he's had his hair since he was 2, so he doesn't even remember a time of not having his hair, you know. And like it's funny because people always ask like, well, like, you know, boys shouldn't have long hair, or, you know, like, when are you gonna let him cut it when he gets a chance? When are you gonna get a haircut? You know. And like that was just so like. I'm like, yeah, if he wants to cut it, he can cut it, but like, he's not thinking about that. Like, this is the norm for him, you know? And so it wasn't until he went to school that he really started like getting exposed to that. And like, he would come home and be like, well, one of the kids said I look like a girl, like because my hair is longer, you know?
And of course, you the only brown skinned kid in the class.
Yeah, exactly. So, you know, so it was just like, okay, you know, kind of like, now you've had this thing that's been like a norm to you, but like now let us really reintroduce to you like, what's up with your hair and why you have it and, you know, why it's important, you know? And so it's funny because like everything that happened in the book actually was like real life true story. And so like we end up, you know, talking to him about it and everything, and just like us talking to him and educating him about his hair really made like his confidence for his hair grow. And so that's what inspired the book, because I was seeing that more often.
Go ahead, I'll bring it.
Should I continue or wait till he come back?
Wait till he come back.
Okay. He's like, go ahead. I'm like, I don't know if that's what they want. Do you want to get down and go join your brothers maybe? You're not asleep. No, you're not asleep.
What excuse?
Oh, okay. No, of course. Yeah, so after kind of like living that experience and just seeing the more the more people with that kind of mindset of like, someone just commented on one of our posts the other day, like, oh, that's nice that you're doing all that for his hair, but like, you know, why do you care about how long his hair is? Like, he's a boy. And I'm like, okay, like what does that have to do with anything? What does gender have to do with hair? So, you know, we kind of came to the idea of like, you know, we should have a book about this. Like, you know, other little boys with long hair should be able to have a book that makes them understand and makes them feel proud of, you know, their hair. Because like, honestly, when you look at children's books, you don't really see children's books with boys with long hair. You know, you see boys with shortcuts, and that's pretty much it.
At least out here.
Yeah.
That was a lot of the other thing. Like, I started to realize that a lot of this is just, I don't know, since when I came out of the Marine Corps, I came out very like, I mean, I was very pro-Black when I went in, but when I came out, it was like a whole new level of understanding of pro-Black. And it was around the time I was on deployment when I think Trayvon Martin, when that first incident had happened. And I remember being on deployment, really like going to bat, fighting against, arguing with people. Like, I got into a full fight with someone in deployment over the whole Trayvon Martin situation and stuff like that. So it was just like, it really started to like hit me like how much of this Western society is against us. And I started looking into more of like other cultures, what other cultures have. A lot of other cultures, right. Their boys have long hair. They believe that there's power in their hair. It's just, I started doing more research, and I was just like, wow, like I can't, you know, I'm not gonna let them tell us who we are, pretty much. Let them tell you who we is.
What does that do for y'all marriage? Like, just the values that you have as far as parenting goes, like, how does that make you look at your wife, Destiny, and Destiny, how does that make you look at Devonte, and just like knowing who y'all are and just the beauty of y'all? Like, how does it feel to look at your spouse knowing the values that you all possess and live up to?
It's a dream.
Yeah. We literally all the time, we're like, I'm so blessed. Like, I'm so blessed. And like beyond like any and everything else, just like our family alone, like every day we're just like, oh my God, our kids are so awesome. Like, we're so blessed. It's awesome. Yeah, it's amazing.
Like legit, we've been poor. Like we've been in the situations where it's like we ain't had the lights on. I'm sorry, I like it. It's like so seeing that, just the growth, like I don't know, we're reading a book right now called Father to Father. We're reading a book right now called The Way of a Superior Man. And yeah. Does he have
that? The baby?
He's gonna go grab the book. He got
Oh, that's crazy.
I had a feeling he was there. I was like, he's got it.
Yes. Go ahead.
Hey, we got a link. It's only special.
Oh.
Everybody not ready for this.
No.
First of all.
No.
But yeah, go ahead. I'm sorry. I had to do
Look. Oh man, that dude right there. Like, so I don't know. I'm listening to the audiobook part of it right now. So they're talking about he talks about basically when you just see God in somebody else. Bro, I see God in my wife. Like, I can literally see God in my wife. I'm like, okay, that's lit. Like, I can like it's crazy. Just I see God in my wife. And that's literally how it feels. I can see like how much she's grown. I can see how much she's grown, and then with that, I can match that and see how much I've grown because of how much she's grown. And then it's just like I look at our kids, and I always tell, we were in a situation not too long ago where basically my character was kind of being called out by someone who, just by somebody, a friend or whatever. Mm-hmm. And basically, it hit me. God hit me with the scripture: judge a man by the fruit he bears. And I had to take a good look at my sons one more time. And I was like, yeah, I know what.
Write that down.
Like I know what.
Your brother.
Preach.
Judge a man by the fruit he bears. By the fruit he bears? Yeah, by the fruit he bears. Yeah. I know. Trying to remember that something. That's it. Yeah.
That's a bar right there.
So that's amazing. Like when that happened, like when you felt like your character was being questioned, was like the initial thing to kind of like what's the word I'm looking for? Was it almost like what's the word I'm looking for? Not like a blow to the ego, but almost like it makes you question who you are.
Oh,
and
yeah.
So that's why
self-conscious.
It makes you like self-conscious, and it almost like lack of confidence or in, you know. So yeah. That's why.
Man, it was like a shot. It was like, it really had me thinking. I was like, it wasn't even like a question of really my character. It was more of a question of, I guess you could say how I am as a parent. And my parenting and how I treat my kids versus how someone else did, and how I treat other people's kids prospectively. And it was like it really had me thinking, because it was like just the allegations, they weren't even allegations. The whole situation didn't make sense, and the person knew it didn't make sense, and it was them speaking from a very jealous and bitter spirit, and I could tell that. But it was like, the more and more they kept going, and the more they kept egging it on, it was just like it started bothering me. It really just started messing with my spirit, and I really had to like pray on it and meditate on it. And like I was reading the Bible, and I don't know, I can't remember where that verse is somewhere in the Bible, but like it literally just popped up to me. It is, because I didn't read it. I just remember hearing that. It was just like, judge a man by the fruit he bears. And I was like, okay, if I look at my sons and I look at the intelligence, the respect, and how they're doing, how I think that they're doing, I'm good. One of the things that they had told me in that class that I was saying about train your children to survive was that, like, if you were to die and you were to give your kids off, you would want them to go to someone who wants to take them. And I was like literally thinking about it. I was like, at this point in time, I'm pretty sure any of my family members, regardless if they're like really involved or not, they would have no problems taking my kids. My Caden, for damn sure, will probably be able to man up and take care of his brothers. I'm satisfied. I'm good. They're on the right path. And so that kind of like gave me my confidence back. I was like, okay, no, if I look at where my sons are at, then okay, I'm doing something right. They're your reflection. So if they're good, okay, I'm doing something right. I'm good.
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. Give us one gem. Just one gem, both of y'all.
I know I could probably edit and cut. We've got so many gems already. Yeah. You can just give us just one gem to just inspire, maybe something
like for marriage.
Towards marriage that can inspire us all. One gem.
Oh man.
You want to go first? There, got something.
All right, go ahead. I'll go second.
So this is actually something that my sensei told me, and it was if you want to do everything, just do everything, and take everything upon yourself. If you treat it like you're the problem, then you don't have to worry about anything else. If you treat it like, okay, that argument, it wasn't her, she wasn't tripping, I was tripping. What did I do wrong? If you focus on what you did wrong and you make yourself as best you can, you ain't gotta worry about anything else. What was it? So okay, that's what I was saying. So there was actually a book that I had picked up, and it was called Marriage is to Make You Happy or Make You Holier, Not Happier. And that was it.
I was waiting for it.
I didn't even get to finish that one. It got lost in moving, but that one, just the title itself had kind of really hit me because it was like that made me think just exactly that. If we're yin and yang, I always call it basically my balance, my other half. So if she is my other half, the areas where I lack, she picks up. And I mean, when you start to really understand that, and if you always just turn in and you always work on yourself fixing whatever it is that's right here, then it'll go. Because literally, whenever it's so dang deep, but my God, when you fix what's inside, everything else follows. Period. And if you just keep that in mind with marriage, that thus far has really. That's what I've been working on for the last year, and I'd say it's really been working. Every time we get into anything, where am I messing up? Where am I screwing up? Fix. What do I need to do? Is it working?
What's your gem, Destiny?
Look internally.
Dang, I got like 3. Okay.
Go ahead.
Okay. I should list them out. So number 1, just kind of like playing off what he said. No, I'm gonna go a different direction. Number 1, I'm gonna say this doesn't apply to everybody, but in most situations, don't give up on your spouse. I feel like, especially like it's an American thing, it's like, hey, marriage isn't permanent. If you don't like it, you can just take it back, because we go into it with that like marriage can be refunded kind of mentality. It's like, all right, well, if this isn't working out for me, it's time to head out. And when you always have that like escape, it's like you don't know what type of future you're ruining by starting over and deciding, oh, this isn't working out for me, or giving up. There were oh my God, if I had $1,
Okay, you're good, go.
If I had $1 for every time I said I want a divorce, I would be rich right now. Fortunately, I didn't, follow. I actually brought home the paperwork one time, and he ripped it up in my face, and I was really offended because I paid $10 for that. But it's just if I had given up when I said I was going to give up, when everybody said I should give up, when everybody was like, it's beat, it's done, it's over, there's nothing good left in it, it's toxic, I wouldn't be where I am today, fully and thoroughly aware that my husband is my soulmate. We just had to get there, So in a world where your homegirl will tell you let him go, I'm gonna say don't keep him and put some more, work into him. Because you just never know. And I mean, of course, use your judgment, but I feel like people need to not go into marriage or not, stay in marriage with that mentality.
For sure.
So keep working on me.
I ain't gonna give up. Don't worry.
Don't give up on me.
That was a good one. That's good.
No,
Didn't give up on me.
I think that's big because other married couples that are just starting, especially, or like not married yet, need to hear that, because it's so easy to, when you have that first instance of like, this is it can be it, unless you know that other couples it's been it numerous times. If you don't know that it can be that and still be successful, then you will think that it needs to be over at the first instance. So that's why I think this is important, just, for people to hear, for those that are married or aren't married, to hear this, to let them know that it is a process and that people have gone through it, but that's how we learn from other people's experience best,
Hey, I want to say this. I think that, and I was trying not to go there, but I think this whole idea of cancel culture, we got to know cancel culture is not for marriage. Like, this new generational thing of cancel culture, I think is very dangerous, because we talked about this just the other day. And you use the word toxic. People throwing that word around left and right. Like, y'all need to look up the definition. Let's break it down. Because what Devonte saying, like, we all have inner work to do. Don't call my inner work toxic. I'm not saying I'm perfect. I'm not saying I'm the best human being. But I'm saying we all got something to fix, and that don't make you toxic because you got something to fix.
In that case, we would give up on ourselves.
Right. Yeah. So anyway,
we cancel
culture ain't for marriage, and I think it's dangerous because people looking at celebrities and cancel them, but then they doing it to people in their real life, and it's tough out here. Like, you need your people. Like, we go back to, you need your village. Y'all out here canceling people that are trying to work through their issues, and that's not. I mean, that's not for me. I'll say that.
And furthermore, it's like, people don't realize when they be trying to do that, it's like those people are seeing your marriage from a third person perspective. Like, they don't really know, So it's like, it's funny. I seen a meme that was like, the guy was like, "Can you scoot over?" or something like that. And the girl was like, "So basically, what you're trying to tell me is you want me to leave? You're done with me?" Like, he's like, "No, all I said was scoot over in the bed," And it's kind of like that. It's like, yeah, girl, you talk to all your friends, those people you've been to, you're frustrated. So it's like they have a completely different view of your marriage. They're not in there all the time that he didn't snuggled up with you. They just hear, he said leave, woo, 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 and it's like, all right, girl, you need to leave him. Y'all need to leave him. But really, all he said was scoot over. So it's like keeping that in perspective. Like, people are so quick to, cancel it because it doesn't affect them. It's not their marriage. It's not their relationship. Like, you have to really take into perspective. Like I said earlier, you're the only one that really knows your relationship.
That's what's up, man. Okay, so before we end, man, this was like, I think we honestly had some really good energy, man. I appreciate y'all. Let the people know how they can get in contact with you guys through via social media, however the best way to contact you.
We have so many social media. So our main one is gonna be at the Bennett Gang via Instagram, via Facebook. The Bennett BENNETT gang. And then my more so like personal Instagram blog is They Call Me Mama Bennett. It's exactly how it sounds.
And they call me Papa Bennett.
Yeah.
And of course, Father to Father Initiatives. Check that out.
Where can they find the book?
Oh, okay. So the book is on Amazon. If you go on Amazon and search "There's Power in My Hair" by R.W. Lee, it's on there. And then also, I believe it's still in our bio. Also on.
Yeah, that's where I found it. Devonte, you mentioned you wrote a 4-step plan. Is that something that you blogged about, or is it like?
I haven't.
I need it.
Available for other people?
Actually, it's gonna be. I've actually been talking about. I just did after the engaged fatherhood one. I'm actually gonna go ahead and do one following up on the 4-step to go ahead and do that, because I realized that it is something that we need to start talking about more. Yeah, it's how to get engaged.
I need that. Even if you need a proofread, I love it.
I no, for real, I got you. I'm gonna go ahead and sit down. I'll turn it over to you. Matter of fact, today.
My brother, man. Well, we appreciate your time. We appreciate the energy, the love that y'all poured into this interview. And I know that not only did I feel like I grew as a husband and a father, I know whoever was touched by this amazing interview and these words will be as well. So that's it. I'm Ricky and Val, and this is the Bennett Gang, and this is Beyond I Do.
Presented by Dear Father, hosted by Rex Whiskey. We out.
Peace.
Please feel free to get comfortable. Go ahead, sit back. You have any requests? Cause if you don't, then I do. Can you please point your toes and arch your